Hi class, Nathan Krasniak here. I will be giving my presentation about the Epic of Gilgamesh. I've been doing my paper and my research about masculinity. In the Epic of Gilgamesh, there's definite concept and thematic elements revolving around masculinity, and it's actually quite interesting the stance I've taken towards the Epic of Gilgamesh and the characterization of Gilgamesh himself. I have four key sources which highlight various aspects of the uh, theme of masculinity, and my tentative thesis is along the lines of Gilgamesh developing a skewed sense of view of himself. So the thesis that I formulated is stated as Gilgamesh having a wrinkle in his perception, and the other side of that is how that wrinkle is ironed out. And I'd like to just start and say the wrinkle is developed through his mother, Ninsun, and the way she babies him and the way that she caters to his need, along with the fact that he has been boasted upon and been given glory so much that he feels that masculinity only embodies a physical aspect, and he completely ignores the fact that he is a king and is responsible for the entire city of Europe. So, with that in mind, I'd like to touch base on the fact that Gilgamesh is very apparent in his stance towards masculinity. He feels that he's very masculine throughout the epic, and around the time that he meets Enkidu is around the height of his glorification of himself. He hears of Enkidu and he wants to assert his masculinity, and it's totally definitive that he feels that he is the more masculine being. And there's an interesting point in the epic where Gilgamesh slightly lets his guard down, and unintentionally letting his guard down allowed for the process of this wrinkle to be ironed out. It actually started the process. It didn't necessarily allow it, because Gilgamesh was very resistant to the fact that there were things that he needed to change about himself and in his perception of what true masculinity embodies. Of course, I've taken a modern day stance towards what masculinity is, but if you take a close look, Western culture defines masculinity very and fairly similarly to what ancient Mesopotamian uh, masculinity was defined as. And the key difference, should I say, that separates the old from the new is the advancement in technology and the awareness and the what's the word I'm looking for, the uh, the ability to be technologically savvy and advanced. So that's the only clear difference which is noted in my paper. And shortly after Enkidu dies, the process continues, the ironing process of the wrinkle in Gilgamesh's perception. And there's three key points that I've noted, and I took those key points from one of my sources. And those three key points were the maturation of Gilgamesh. The source actually uh, worded it and credited it differently than masculinity. They actually discussed it as a coming of age and a transformation from childhood into adulthood, And in my opinion, I believe those two are very similarly linked and highly related. So adulthood being true masculinity, and childhood being an immature person. So the process was Gilgamesh leaving Uruk, then then Gilgamesh enduring a lot, pushing his body to the limit, and then his return to Uruk. Those were the steps outlined from the source that I was able to find, and I felt like it fit very strongly. That source was actually the main reason for the choosing of the exact topic. I wasn't sure where I was going to go, and that helped me narrow it down very definitively. Other than that, there's a few minor things that I needed to work on and tweak, but other than that, we're all good.